Welcome to this explainer on the fundamentals of transport management. Let's do something practical today. Imagine you've just stepped into the shoes of a global logistics manager. We're going to see exactly how transport theory is applied in real business contexts. It's fascinating because the choices you make can literally build a competitive advantage for your entire supply chain. Right, let's dive straight in.
To kick things off, take a look at this quote by Gustavo Petro. A developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. It really makes you think, doesn't it? It perfectly highlights that efficient transport isn't just about moving things from A to B. It's about smart structural choices. And as a logistics manager, that is exactly how you need to think. We're always looking for structural decisions that improve efficiency, lower costs, and protect our environment.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll be moving from understanding the global network and choosing transport modes, all the way through to calculating costs and looking at sustainable logistics. Okay, moving right into Part 1, Understanding Transport Activities. Before you even think about picking a vehicle, you have to know what kind of activity you're dealing with. Are we talking inbound transport? That's when you bring raw materials into your facility, like delivering fresh sugarcane right to a sugar mill. Or is it outbound transport, where you're sending finished goods, like that processed sugar, out to distribution centers? And then, of course, there's international transport. This involves cross-border movements, like flying sensitive medical equipment all the way from Canada to a hospital here in Thailand. Figuring out the exact activity is absolutely your first step. Now for the fun part, balancing speed, cost, and capacity to choose the right mode of transport. In logistics, you're constantly weighing up extremes. Take water and air transport, for example. Water transport handles a massive 90% of international trade. Why? Well, because it offers the absolute lowest per unit cost and has incredible capacity. But there's a catch. It's very slow and requires transshipment. Now, flip that around to air transport. You get unmatched transit speed, and you actually need less protective packaging. But you're going to pay a very high premium for it, and you're restricted by strict cargo size limits. So, if you're shipping low-margin bulk goods, water is your best friend. But urgent, high-value electronics, you're definitely going to choose air. This comparison right here, think of it as your ultimate cheat sheet. Notice how road transport stands out because it's uniquely flexible. It's the only mode that reliably gives you door-to-door service without needing to transfer the cargo. Rail is a fantastic low-cost option for heavy goods, but its flexibility is quite low since it's stuck on fixed tracks. And pipelines? They are incredibly specific and totally inflexible, but they offer exceptionally low costs if you're moving liquids or gases like oil. But what happens when one mode just isn't enough? That leads us to containers and intermodal systems.
Often, a single transport mode won't cut it. And this is where the shipping container comes in. A simple steel box that completely revolutionized global trade. Containers let goods move seamlessly from trucks to trains to ships, and the sizing is standard worldwide. We measure capacity in TEUs, which stands for 20-foot equivalent units. So, exactly one standard 20-foot container is 1 TEU. A larger 40-foot container, you guessed it, that's counted as 2 TEUs.
By standardizing cargo into these boxes, we unlock intermodal transport. This is where managers cleverly mix and match different modes to get the absolute best of both worlds. We actually have some rather fun terms for these combinations. Birdyback is Air+Road, like flying Thai jewelry to the US, then trucking it straight to the high-end buyer. Piggyback combines rail and road. Imagine moving heavy Saraburi cement by train to Chiang Mai to keep costs down, then putting it on a truck for local delivery. And Fishyback is Water+Road, such as shipping Thai rice to Australia by sea and then driving it inland.
Right, on to Section 4, Calculating Transport Costs.
Once your intermodal strategy is set, your next big job is managing the finances. You need to keep a close eye on two distinct types of costs. First, fixed costs. These form your baseline, and they don't change no matter how far you drive or how much cargo you move. We're talking about warehouse rent, the depreciation of your vehicles, or permanent staff salaries. Variable costs, on the other hand, change with every single trip. The fuel you burn, the driver's hourly wages, those toll fees, they are all variable costs.
So, what actually drives these costs up or down? Well, product factors play a huge role. Imagine an irregularly shaped piece of machinery. It wastes precious space and costs a lot more to ship than nicely stackable boxes. High-value goods cost more too because you absolutely need liability insurance. Then there are market factors, like city traffic restrictions. But here's the most crucial thing to remember: avoiding the dead head. A deadhead is when a truck drops off its delivery and drives all the way back completely empty. You're paying for fuel and labor, but making zero revenue. Smart managers will always try to secure a backhaul load for that return journey to maximize profit. Okay, let's talk about how we actually calculate what to charge a customer. Here's the thing. Transport vehicles usually run out of physical space long before they hit their actual weight limit. Think about filling a lorry with pillows. It's very light, but the vehicle is completely full. Because of this, we calculate two figures. First, the gross weight, which is just the actual weight on a scale. Then the volume weight, which turns the physical size of the boxes into a weight equivalent using a standard formula. The golden rule in logistics, you always select the higher number of the two. That becomes your chargeable weight. Let's just walk through a quick practical example together. Imagine we're sending 4 boxes to Japan. Step 1, we calculate the volume weight. We multiply the dimensions in the 4 boxes, then divide by our industry standard of 6,000. That gives us 480 kilograms. Step 2, we put the boxes on a scale, and the actual gross weight comes in at 460 kilograms. Step 3, we compare them. 480 is higher than 460, so 480 kilograms is our chargeable weight. Finally, if our rate is 50 Thai baht per kilo, we multiply that by 480, giving us a final freight charge of 24,000 baht. It's a remarkably simple but absolutely vital process to make sure you aren't losing money on bulky items.
Moving into Section 5, Sustainable and Smart Logistics. Calculating costs is obviously vital, but today's logistics managers also have to tackle the massive challenge of environmental sustainability. The transport sector carries a heavy environmental burden. It's a major source of greenhouse gas emissions, like CO2, which, as we know, drives climate change. It also creates dangerous urban air pollution, like PM 2.5 particulates, that directly harm public health. And we certainly can't ignore the noise pollution in our cities, or the massive drain on non-renewable resources, right down to the rubber used for the vehicle tires.
Thankfully, we have some fantastic tools to help mitigate these impacts. On the tech side, we're using artificial intelligence to map out the most fuel-efficient routes, and we're slowly transitioning fleets over to electric vehicles. From a regulatory standpoint, governments are rolling out strict Euro emission standards to force trucks to run cleaner. We also have economic tools, like carbon taxes, which penalize heavy fossil fuel use and push companies towards green energy. And from a civic perspective, investing in public mass transit systems, like Bangkok's BTS and MRT, drastically cuts down our reliance on private cars.
Finally, let's reflect on the key takeaways for becoming an effective logistics manager. To wrap things up, let's quickly review the core principles you'll want to take into your future careers. Your success is essentially going to rest on 4 main pillars. First, making sure you match the transport mode to the product's profit margin and urgency. Second, leveraging intermodal systems like Piggyback and Fishyback to get the perfect balance of cost and speed. Third, meticulously controlling your costs by understanding how things like packaging shape and those dreaded empty deadhead trips impact the bottom line. And finally, embracing digital route optimization and sustainable practices. That is what will keep your company competitive and compliant in the years to come.
I'm going to leave you with 3 practical questions to really test your understanding of today's explainer. Think about which transport mode you'd choose for high-value electronics. Consider the financial danger of a deadhead trip. And finally, grab a calculator and work out the chargeable weight for these 5 boxes. Take a moment, work it out, and see if you're truly ready for the real world of global logistics. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep learning.